streaming. Good morning, Ducky. How are you? I hope your dog's feeling better. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Amber Molden. Good morning, Melissa Foster. Welcome to the site. I'm glad you're here. My name is Dan Geist. Oh, I need to share to groups. Shit, I didn't share to groups. Oh, fuck. How can I do this? Let me see if I can do it from Facebook. I totally fucked that up. Give me one moment. I missed the button because I was too busy tinkering. Is there a way to share this? Invite friends to watch. No. Guest requests. No. I don't know why it doesn't give you the option to share after you've started the video. It's so strange to me. Give me 1 second, guys. Good morning, Mary. Thank you for the beautiful comment. That's my dog in the background drinking lots and lots of water because it's actually kind of humid this morning here in Mexico. Let's see here. Okay, let's share this video out, please. I have 1 share so far, so I need you guys to share this video. If you could, I would appreciate it. It would be very, very helpful. Share it out to anywhere where you think it could be utilized, where people would enjoy it. It's a daily forecast for the energy of the day. And it is just, to enable us to sort of look at things maybe from a different perspective, prepare us for what may be coming for the day energetically, so that we can sort of work within our day and get accomplished those things that we want to get accomplished in an easier, softer fashion that kind of enables us to see our capabilities, if that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense. That's the purpose, that's the intent, that's what I shuffle for. And I also, just so you guys know, and I say this all the time for those of you that are regular viewers, but I shuffle for, with the intention of it being for the day, for anybody who may come across the video, no matter what time of the day it is. So that's why I ask you guys to share it, because the information here is going to be broad, because there's a lot of us watching. And so it's going to give us a general overview of what to expect for the day. And we never know who this video could help along the way. So we want to kind of get it out there and share it so that we can help others. And there's that whole idea that if you put it out there, it comes back to you threefold. So who knows, you might be doing somebody some good by sharing this video on your page or to your friends or to a public group. We had a fun event last night, which was very cool. I enjoyed it. It was a little pop-up of group appreciation night, which I think the group enjoyed too. We did some readings, both single and triple card readings for people, and then I did a pendulum swing for one member who I enjoyed doing that because I don't get that opportunity to do that a lot. It seems like everybody wants cards, and I've been working a lot with my pendulum. So for myself personally, so it was fun to get to do that for another member. Let me close this. I think I've got it shared out to all my groups. Now, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna just see. Hi, Charlene Overton. Good morning. You're new to me. That's a new name. Welcome. So I'm just gonna do a daily forecast. It's 1 card. What I do is normally on Sundays I do 3 cards for the week so that we can sort of see sort of what's to be expected coming up during the week on the Sunday. And it kind of gives us an idea of what to expect. But then after that, every morning I get on and I do a card for that day. So the way that I look at it is each card during the 3 cards on Sunday kind of ebb and flow, right? They might represent for maybe 1 or 2 days for some people it might only be 1 day, or for some people it might be the whole week. But We're each different. We each have our different energies. Some of us are stuck in our experiences. Some of us aren't. We move through things easier than others. So those three cards are there to kind of give us signifiers of sort of what to expect for the overall week. And then each daily card that I pull kind of gives us a little bit closer sort of perspective. Oh, the dogs are going to act up now. That's good. Now that I've got everything hooked up, like start protecting us from the neighbor. That's good. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's the neighbor. He's lived there this entire time. And now this morning you're deciding to notice him while I'm on Facebook. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jesus Christ. I love them, but they're like, all of a sudden now they're like the protectors of the world. Most of the time they're snoring. So if they're not wanting to eat, and now all of a sudden they're protecting me from the neighbor who's watering his plants, who's lived there the whole entire time, and today they've noticed he's there. Okay, bless their hearts. So anyways, I was saying, so each card every day also gives us perspective into that day's card, but I also kind of reference it back to Sundays to kind of tie it into sort of the overall energetic report, right? I am your spiritual meteorologist, your energetic meteorologist. That's kind of the running joke. So please tune in every day. And also like, share, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the group. All of that stuff is linked in that one link. There's 4 buttons. If you press that link will get you to where you need to be to find me and to contact me and book a reading if you want a private reading. Private readings are great too. They are very beneficial because they help enlighten you to the fact that you are already way more in control and aware than you probably imagine. You're just probably stuck in a funk, and you need me to kick you a little bit out of it. Let's say that. I help to facilitate you to find your answers. I am not the one that with your answers. I help you to facilitate and access them. Does that make sense? You already have them. So that's what I do for those of you that are new. And good morning, Terry. How are you? Thank you for saying that I was great last night, Karen. I had a really good time. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. So let's get to today's energy. We're looking at May the 21st, which is Tuesday, and I've already gone through the cards and kind of sorted through them and sort of settled them down a little bit and cleared their energy. And I'm gonna shuffle for today's forecast. Okay, does that work? Okay. I'm going to say this. In the shuffle, I get impressions of what I feel like, sort of like, you know, whether or not we're going to get a lot of resistance in the day, like things jumping in our way, bothering us, slowing us down, doing that sort of a thing. And today it feels like there is a little bit of like sort of tightness to the shuffle. Like it feels like maybe might be a little bit of frustration going on today for some of us. A feeling, it doesn't feel like resistance, like the world is giving us too much trouble or getting in our way, but it feels like we're sort of tense, we're sort of nervous, we're sort of, hold on 1 second, hold on. All of you get in here right now, all of you, now, let's go, now. Leave the puppy alone, let's go, guard dog, come on, right now, I said now. Tallulah, now. Let's go. You've lost yard privileges. You're on prison time at this point. God forbid a dog walk by the front of the house. Let's just say that. Alright, so they just lost yard time. It's like prison around here. They get their yard time for a few hours and then that's it. Alright, so I'm going to put them on laundry duty next. So, what I was saying is with the shuffle, it was a little bit tight feeling. So we might find ourselves being a little bit tense today, a little bit on edge, a little bit maybe sensitive, if that makes sense, or delicate kind of thing. But it doesn't feel like it's like outside stuff. It's more. It feels like it's more internal stuff. Like maybe there's something that's important that we're working on today that's got us a little bit on edge, a little bit nervous. Maybe it's something that we really want to see happen, or a conversation that we really want to go through in a certain way, and so we're a little bit like, ooh. So that's what it felt like to me today. Not bad, but more like kind of us anticipating something to worry about. Does that make sense? So that's what we're seeing. That's what I'm feeling in the shuffle. Okay. I'm not feeling a lot of resistance. So that means we might be anticipating something that's not actually there. It's just whatever we're dealing with or whatever we're feeling feels so important to us. We're trying to kind of, maintain or keep it clean, even before it happens. But sometimes when we do that, we don't realize we're such great creators that we're actually creating problems by like living as if one might happen in the near future. Does that make sense? So let's look at the card today. The card today. Interesting. I'm going to put it in Buddha's lap. It's the Seven of Crystals, which is dullness. Crystals is a mind card. In the suit of crystals, it always deals with issues of the mind, or the ego, the mind, our thought patterns, that sort of stuff. And this card to me is definitely about sort of like just what I was talking about, a kind of being. To me, the shuffle felt more tight. Dullness isn't necessarily tight. Dullness is more blocked, right? Like dullness to me feels like there's blocks. If you look at the card, for those of you that are watching on YouTube and from the business page, there's a little small split screen that's happening where the card is displayed. And there's some blue blocks and some red rocks at the bottom, and there's a big mountain behind it, right? And so to me, this card is about like sort of blocking, right? And feeling blocked, feeling like we're not necessarily getting through the way we want to get through, that sort of a thing. Now, what I was saying in the shuffle is that I wasn't feeling a lot of outside resistance. So I'm wondering if there's some of us that are getting a little bit like amped up or worried about the possibility of being blocked, and we're actually kind of blocking ourselves with this card. This card also for some of us could be a warning, like be careful if you are setting yourself up mentally by your thoughts and putting yourself into a place of feeling blocked or not achieving what it is you want today. Does that make sense? So don't let your thoughts get too heavy today. Don't let your thoughts get too negative today. Don't let your thoughts get you down today. I also think that with this card, even though it is a mind card, the red rocks down below here and the blue cubes in the center say to me that there's an emotionality to our thoughts today that might also get in our way or help induce that sort of blockage that we want to be aware of, right? We don't want to get like sort of sucked into it. Yesterday was the Hierophant, right? Which was this beautiful card about like being real, like being aware of sort of what we know and quietly owning that, and maybe by through owning that, like liberating others to own their own like sort of internal intuitive knowledge, right? And this to me feels like we're losing sight of that a little bit today. Something might come up today. I also said on Sunday that there's something I've kept feeling like midweek that's going to throw us for a curve. I think if you go back to watching Sunday's video, I said something about it. I kept going to Wednesday, but today is Tuesday. So maybe for some of you, this could be the beginning of that curve being thrown at you. By Wednesday, we might be experiencing something even more blocked or bigger or more obvious. But right now, this feels like the building of that. But I have to say this card feels like a warning. Like it feels like it's here to tell us, hey guys, be careful about how we're thinking. Be careful about how emotional we're getting. Are we letting our emotions and our thoughts get the best of us and painting ourselves sort of into a corner, so to speak, right? We had that Hierophant card yesterday. We also started off with that Three of Crystals creativity card on Sunday, which was about thinking outside of the box, being creative, getting ourselves up out of that negative energy, up out of that negative thinking, up out of this dullness card, and thinking more open-mindedly, more positively, and going in that route and seeing like sort of the outcome or the horizon and focusing on that and not on the bullshit that we deal with day to day. And then we had that midweek card, which was the Four of Worlds, which was commencement, which was all about like the beginnings of starting new things financially, new ideas, new places in the world that better suit us, right? And that stems from that creative thinking. So we had this Hierophant card yesterday that told us, hey, we've got all these tools we need. We need to bring those tools forth, and we need to really acknowledge them and honor them. And maybe sometimes we need to just do that within ourselves first. And I'm looking at this dullness card now and I'm thinking, some of you may have done that yesterday. Some of you may not have. It may not feel quite comfortable just yet to sort of like say, okay, I'm the creator of my universe. I get to pick and choose what I think about. I get to pick and choose how I focus on things. I get to pick and choose where I put my attention. And so because of that, sometimes it's easier for us to just sort of get stuck, like what this card says, get stuck in like the day-to-day and go, oh, Jesus, not this again. Oh, or on the other thing too, that anticipation that I was feeling in the shuffle, we have this commencement card, right? Maybe this commencement card is about to begin for some of us today. And that's that nervousness, that uptightness that I was feeling. This new path that might be opening up for some of us, this new choice that we know we need to make, that once we make it, we're sort of starting the wheels in motion. We're a little bit nervous about it. So we're a little bit uptight. So we might feel a little bit like, do I make this decision? Or do I just stay here sort of, stuck in my mind with the same thoughts that haven't really been serving me, right? Does that make sense to you guys? So I really think that it doesn't necessarily mean that today is going to be a dull day. It doesn't necessarily mean that today is going to be a day where we're going to feel blocked. Today, this card to me definitely feels like the hit that I'm getting on this card is this is more of a warning to you guys, or most of you guys. This may not be for all of you. Some of you are more probably positive-minded thinkers, and you guys can still be in that Hierophant energy or even that creativity energy that we saw on Sunday. Or you might be starting your commencement of whatever great ideas you have going on. But this, to me, this card is like for the day is saying, just be aware of your thoughts. Are you thinking emotionally? Hey Pat, hey Belen, good morning. Hey Kelly Kemp, good morning. Are you thinking too emotionally today? Are your thoughts heavy? Are they feeling dull? Are they feeling like they're draining you? Are they feeling like you're carrying them instead of them uplifting you? Oh, that's a good one. How do I want to put it? Sometimes our thoughts can lift us up and make us feel lighter, or sometimes they can drag us down and make us feel heavier. And yesterday, the Hierophant was all about sort of being in balance with who we were and what we know and how we are, and owning that, right? And having our sort of like our intelligence and our awareness and just being it, right? And that to me feels like light or equal. This card to me feels like today we might get a little bit bogged down if we're not careful. So let's not go there. And that's just as much of a read for me as it is for any of you too, because I have the tendency to do that too. I'll get too caught up in a certain thought and like, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? And it's like, what if? All of that does is it produces anxiety. It's just, there's these funny things that I've noticed, like when I'm in meditation, like certain emotions are attached to certain areas of timelines in how we think. So like when we're talking about like regret and shame and those sort of things, that stuff is always based in past. And when we look at what we're thinking about and we're feeling those feelings of regret, shame, and those sort of feelings, it's the past. We can't change it. It's already happened. We can learn from it and move forward, but we can't change it, right? And then like things like anxiety or fear, like intense fear, those sort of things, those are usually future based. So we're usually worrying about what's yet to come. And so when we're going through those sort of feelings, we're kind of out there in the future trying to figure out an answer before it happens. The truth of the matter is the safest and most like beneficial place for us to be is in the present moment, right? And you've heard that phrase. That's why it's called the present. It is the gift. But the present moment is really where we do most of our creating from. And so when we bring our attention back to ourselves and back to the present moment, we actually are more capable of sort of creating, or being at least aware of what it is we are creating. So are we in dullness and fear and emotional blockages and feeling heavy? Because if that's what we're running and that's the energy or the vibration we're at, those are the experiences we're going to be creating and attracting to ourselves throughout the day. Or are we, being aware of that and maybe like going, you know what, no, not today, Satan, I'm not doing this. And staying with that Hierophant energy from yesterday, or going back to that idea of the Three of Crystals of, yes, life gets boring and hard at times. Sometimes we need to think differently, get creative, get outside of the box, and really pay attention to our thoughts and our minds and have them be our tool and not our, have them be a tool for us to utilize and not necessarily be like ruling over us, right? Do you know what I mean? We are like, they talk about in religion, the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. I also believe there's a Holy Trinity within each of us that's sort of mirrored in that, which is, the mind, body, and the spirit, right? It's the same thing, that's why they always say like there's a little bit of God, or God, man is created in God's image sort of thing. I think that's one of those parallels, right? One of those mirrored things is that Holy Trinity of, there's the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, and then we've got the, our mind, our spirit, and our body, right? And so I think that we get to choose, do we let one rule, which the mind wants to rule, it wants to control, the ego wants to be in there keeping us safe and freaking us out at all times, or do we stop and we listen and we like pay attention to what we're thinking and how we're thinking and what we're putting, in our path ultimately, because that is, our thoughts are what we are putting into our path. And the quicker we realize that and the more responsibility we take for that, the easier it becomes to sort of change that and stop that and let that go. And then when we start to let that go, or when we start to actively consciously work with that, so we start to pick the next right thought or the next best thing, or something that feels better, a little bit higher of a vibration than where we may be given in that moment, things start to vibrate higher, experiences start to get slightly better, things start to happen for us that we're otherwise we are creating them, but we may not realize that, but otherwise wouldn't have happened because we would have been stuck in that. So I think this dullness card says to me that those of you that are a little bit uptight or tense about maybe this commencement card that's coming, this sort of change that's coming that you sort of want to have come, or that you're about to make, or you might be in the process of making a little early, this card might be wanting to hold you back and say, no, don't do it. Be careful, all those silly worries that we have in our heads that say oh no, you've messed this up in the past, you can't do it again. And again, that's that sort of, it's a lie. So you messed it up in the past, so learn the lesson. Oh, so I made a mistake. Whoops. Okay, so let's try again. This is for, I don't know, life is a school. We're all here to learn, myself included. Everybody's here to learn. We're all studying and learning from both our accomplishments and our mistakes. So it's just, which do we choose to focus on? Which energy do we choose? Energy do we choose to vibrate within that moment? And we get to consciously choose that. That's free will. That's the power and the gift that our higher power has given us here. So please like, share, and subscribe. If you're not liking and sharing and subscribing, then you're being a bad member. I'm just saying that at this point, because I am the one that's sharing this out all the time. I look at the amount of shares on these videos, guys, and I know that some of you do share. You're sharing on your personal pages, and I appreciate that so very, very much. But I'm going to take it one extra step. If you belong to a tarot reading group, or if you belong to a spiritual group, or if you have friends that you think might better utilize, would be interested in hearing some of this stuff or would benefit from some of the things that I'm saying, invite them to the Facebook group or put it out there. I know that some of you have done it, and I'm super appreciative of it, but I also know that there could be more that could be being done. So I'm asking you to please do just a little bit more if you care and if you're benefiting from this that I'm doing every morning. And, think bigger, don't think duller. I'm thinking bigger, and that's why I'm asking for your help, because I've gone and found other spiritual groups to join and have been posting, and today I'm going to go into one that it requires me to do private readings for the group alone so that I can advertise there, and I'm going to do that work so that I can advertise there. I'm not going to let myself get blocked and be dull. I want to commence. I want to do this Four of Wands. I want to think creatively. I want something to shift. I want something new to start. I want to move forward. And in creation and in excitement and in joy and in amusement, those are the vibrations I want. Those are the energies I want flowing through my life. So I have to stay focused on them and conscious of them. And so I am, and by doing that, I'm also asking you guys, get out there, share me. If you like me and you love me, tell your friends, tell your mothers, tell your wives, tell your coworkers, hey, there's this great guy, you should watch him. He inspires me in the morning. All right, so I hope I'm inspiring you guys. You guys inspire me. I wouldn't be getting up if I didn't have people watching. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, like this new thing that I've been sort of typing on these forecasts that I feel like I need to be saying is that no matter what the energy that's forecasted each day, remember to stay focused on having a blessed day. So even if we get like the full-on shit card that's like, oh God, not today, you can always make a choice to stay focused on having a blessed day. No matter what I forecast or what we think is coming, if we choose to stay focused on the fact that we are blessed, we are in a body, we are alive today, we are breathing, we get to experience, we're still in the school of life, we're still moving through it, even if we're slogging through it, it's a blessing. And when you treat it as such and you find gratitude for it, it helps to shift it. And you'll find yourself outside of any sort of negative situation or anything that you might not wanting to be dealing with that much quicker. Okay, so I'm going to take this card down. Remember, it's just a warning. It doesn't say that the day has to be dull. It doesn't say we have to be emotionally blocked. It just says be conscious of our mind today. That's why we do these forecasts, guys, is to give us insight into what could be coming. And so yesterday we had that, opportunity to really own what we know and who we are, and maybe some of us didn't feel comfortable doing that. And now we're sort of like reverting back to a space that feels comfortable because, dullness, God, I get long-winded in the morning. I need to keep these short and sweet, I think. But this dullness energy too, I gotta say this too, it feels like for some of you, I think it might be a warm blanket. I know for me it used to be. Like sometimes it's easier to not have to take responsibility by just staying blocked and blaming it on everything else and going, see, that didn't go my way, and that's exactly why, because I knew that wasn't going to go my way, because I already knew it, and you already knew it because you kind of created it because you were already expecting it. And it was the easier option. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, sometimes I do the same thing. I run and I hide. And I've been, these dailies, these daily readings, I do them as much for you guys, right? But I'm also doing them so that I don't run and hide from my dream. And my dream is to do this as a living. So I give this as a gift every morning and as a, what do I want to say? As a, not a requirement, but as a, I don't know what the word is, like a test to myself. A statement to myself every morning when I get on to do this forecast that I'm doing this because not only do I want to give back to you guys, but I really want this. And I need to get up and I need to believe in myself every morning and do this. Hi, Maria. And regardless of whether or not I feel uncomfortable or I feel like I have anything to say, I try and not let those thoughts get into my head. I just get on and I do this, and I just stay focused on at least helping one person, if not many. And that's, you know, keeps me in that frame of mind of I'm working towards my goal. Does that make sense? So, you know, but in the past, have I disappeared for months at a time? Certainly. Some of my longer time followers know that. They've seen that, where they're like, oh my God, you're great. Oh, we love seeing you. And then I disappear for like 3 weeks or a month. And that's me being, you know, going back to that dullness place where it's almost easier for me to not be responsible for producing my own dreams and happiness and pursuing my passions. Because that's scary stuff, guys. But that's why we're here. Because as scary as it is, it's equally as exciting too. Because when things start to happen, you know, that lady I mentioned, I think in yesterday's video, she's this tarot reader that I check in with her every day. And if you guys aren't following her, you should be. I think she's really talented. She's really good. She's amazing. She speaks my language for sure. And her name is MJ Cullinane. I'm going to say it again. And she created a deck called the Crow Tarot. And I've always had an affinity with crows. Like, that's just been one of my sort of guiding animals throughout my life. And so I found her, came across her, I don't know, months ago. And I watch her readings every day. And I love how she talks. I love how she delivers her information. I love that she's creative and that she has made this deck, right? But so I happened to mention to her that I shared yesterday's reading because she had reminded me of a song that I absolutely love by Kate Bush. And, you know, she and I seem to share similar musical influences. And I don't know, I just feel like if I was in Seattle, I would get down with this chick. Like, I would be her friend. That's how I feel. I feel like we would click. But anyways, long story short, she actually found my video and liked it. And it was the coolest feeling. I kind of fangirled a little bit. Just because I feel like, you know, I don't know. You know, I put it out there and, you know, shared her stuff, and I mentioned it to her, and she came back around and went looking and liked my video. And so to me, that was the coolest feeling ever. And if I hadn't been brave and did it, then you know, that never would have happened. So, and it's totally cool that it did. Like, I was so kind of happy about it. So anyways, she's a great resource too. If any of you are seeking and searching for resources, she also does private readings too. And I've actually had one done from her, and it was really good, like excellent. Like, I've actually gone back and re-referenced it and looked at it even a few weeks later, just to be reminded of some of the things that she said. And I always suggest you guys go back and look at yesterday's card too, the Hierophant, just because I liked a lot of what was said yesterday. And this dullness card doesn't necessarily have to be the card for the day today. We can still run on that Hierophant energy if we're still practicing that, or if we didn't quite feel like we fully achieved it yesterday. That card is still present this week. That energy is still running through this week. It showed up on Monday. It can still be here on Tuesday if we choose to focus on it and put our intentions and attentions on it. So, all right, I'm going to stop there. Love you guys. Dawn Odom Smith, I'm not pulling cards for specific questions. This is just a morning forecast, but thank you for asking. If you follow or join the group, I do like free nights where I do cards for specific questions and things like that. But the morning videos are just strictly for the forecast. This is a gift that I give to the entire group and anybody that watches, so that I can meet the needs of many in a way that is non-draining and healthy for me. Okay, so that's my gift to you this morning. Anybody that's watching or anybody that watches throughout the day, the intention, as I said, is so that whoever comes across this throughout the day will receive something from it. And if you liked it, please like, share, subscribe, follow. There will be I think it's on this corner. I'm trying to use my pointing finger. In this corner later, when I edit this video on YouTube, there will be a subscribe button. And I will see you guys tomorrow in the morning if I don't like get inspired to come on tonight. I want to do a night. I'm just going to throw this out there really quick before I sign off. I want to do a night. I talked to Ducky about this, where we do pendulums, and I want to call it a swingers party. I don't know if that's totally inappropriate, but I thought it was cute. So where it's just pendulum swings, yes, no questions. So the energy will move quick, fast. You guys, I'm giving you guys a little heads up about it so you can prepare your questions. They need to be, the more specific they are, the better. But I will help some of you through. If your questions are a little too broad, I might narrow them down for you so that we can get more specific answers that you might be seeking. But I had fun doing that for Pat last night, and I want to do a night of just pendulum swings and see the energy around that and see how quick and fast that moves, how many people I could actually get to. And I want to call it the swingers party, just as a little joke. So if you are totally offended by that, let me know. And if you're not, let me know that too. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, comment on the YouTube videos, comment everywhere. Share, guys. Help me. If I'm helping you with these forecasts, please try and help me by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. All right. Have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.